Welcome back. So today we're going to make one of your favorites, pumpkin mac and cheese. I know you guys have been asking me for this for a long time, so I'm going to show you how to do it so you can make it for yourselves and your families. And I think it's one of the easiest kind of main courses we can make, and it's also very healthy because it has pumpkin in it. So let's go over to the recipe and look at what we have. We're going to use a pound of pasta, any kind you want, cooked according to directions, a 1/4 cup of butter, 1/4 cup of flour, 2 cups of milk, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, don't forget that, 1 cup of canned pumpkin or fresh cooked pumpkin that has been mashed, and 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. And of course you can add any kind of cheese you want, but cheddar is just the kind of traditional, and it's so good. So let's get started. Here is our 1/4 cup of butter, and we're going to put that in the pan and turn that heat way down. A little bit too hot, but let me get it going. You want to melt the butter, and as soon as the butter is melted, keep your pan not as quite as hot as mine because I kind of browned it here, but it'll give it kind of a nutty flavor. It's not burned, it's just going to be nutty. So to the butter, we're going to add the 1/4 cup of flour, and with that, I'm going to actually whisk it in. You want to cook it a little bit. Do a medium heat, medium high. We're making ourselves a roux. We need that flour to make sure that the sauce is thick. And that looks pretty good. This really comes together fast, so definitely have everything set up before you begin. To this, we're going to add the 2 cups of milk, because this will have to cook for a little while and thicken. 2 cups, and I use whole milk because I like whole milk. It's a little bit richer, gives it a little bit more flavor, and I can up the heat just a little bit on that. We'll let that cook through for just a few minutes, and while it's cooking, let's add the other ingredients, just the dry stuff. We're going to do our 1/2 teaspoon of salt and our 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Let's do some of this grated pepper right into that, as much as you like. I like it peppery. Okay, and we're going to do our 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg and our 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Let me get all that in there, and we'll give it a little whisk. And I can tell already it's getting thick. This sauce cooks really quickly. And while it's cooking, I'll mention that today I used penne, which is a tube pasta. You can use whatever you want. The traditional, of course, is elbow macaroni, and if you want elbow macaroni, use elbow macaroni. If you want whole grain, use whole grain. It's really your choice. I happen to have a pound of penne, so that's what I used. Oh great, can we get a little closer view of this? So now you can see, let me show you with a spoon. Look, it's getting thick. You can see that we can make runs in it. And oh my gosh, I can smell the mustard too. Excellent. Don't forget that Dijon, it really is important. Okay, to this, let's add the 1 cup of pumpkin. And I did cheat today. I am using a can. I'm using Libby's pumpkin. Don't use pumpkin pie mix because that has sweeteners in it and all kinds of seasonings you don't want. But just use the regular 100% pure pumpkin. And spend the money on a nicer brand if you can, because we did a taste test once in class, and the bargain brands don't taste very good. Okay, this is really nice and thick now. Now we get to add, let me turn it down just a little bit. We're going to add the 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. Okay, bubbly. Turn that down a little bit. And this is going to melt really fast. Check it out. Okay. Get that all mixed up and smooth. And the easiest thing to do at this point, I'm going to turn this way down. Let that sit. That looks absolutely perfect. Check it out. That's exactly what you want to see. Okay, from here, what we do is take our cooked pasta. I have a pound of penne, pre-cooked, sitting, keeping warm on the stove, and I'm going to add it right to the pot. I'm going to throw it right in there and try not to lose too many along the way. Come on. It's going, it's going. Good job. Your spoon. All right, now we're going to toss it and make sure everything is covered. Get all that sauce mixed in real well with all of your pasta. You could actually eat this at this point, but I find that baking it just makes it richer, and plus I like the kind of crust that you get on the top. So here we go. We're going to take our buttered dish. Let me turn this off. And I've buttered a 9 by 13 inch pan. Make sure you grease it. You don't want this sticking. We're going to take the pan of pasta with all of that gooey, rich, pumpkin-y, cheesy sauce. Oh my goodness, this looks good. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We're going to fill the pan. Get everything in there. Don't waste any of it. Put this over my sink. Spread it out. And at this point, you can do it whatever you want. You could put like breadcrumbs on to give it a little crispy top. You're going to bake it uncovered, so it'll get crispy anyway. Sometimes people put a little bit of extra grated cheese on the top. I'm finding that this is pretty cheesy, and I don't think we're going to actually need that. So this is what it looks like. And at this point, you're going to take this and put it in a 350-degree oven for about 20-25 minutes. Don't put a top on it. Leave it open like this because you do want it to bake out a little bit. And let's come back in about 25 minutes and see how it looks. Okay, so I brought the casserole, the mac and cheese out of the oven and let it cool for just a few minutes. It looks absolutely beautiful. When I brought it out, it was bubbling, which is what you want to see. It should be bubbling and cooked through. You can see that I did put the breadcrumbs on in the end. I just like the look of it better, and I like the texture. So what I use is, you can use whatever you want, regular breadcrumbs. You can make your own breadcrumbs. I use panko, and it's just super crispy, and you can't just throw it on. What you have to do is take about a quarter cup of it to maybe even up to a half a cup, and depending on how much you want, and add a little bit of olive oil or melted butter. And that's what helps the breadcrumbs brown and give it that golden brown color on top. So anyway, let's dig in. I wanted to show you what you could do if you want to make this a meal for your family. Once you get this done, it's really easy to throw together a little salad. Here I've just chopped lettuce, and I had some Thai basil in the garden and tomatoes, and I threw a little bit of lemon and olive oil, salt and pepper. Super simple. You can put your own vinaigrette on, whatever you like, but it's very easy to make an accompaniment to this little dinner. So let's go ahead and we'll take a chunk out of here. Oops. Oh my goodness, that looks amazing. All right. Bring it on over. I don't need to take any more. Well, I'll take a little bit more. Oh my, that looks great. Now, don't burn yourself. You know this stuff is hot. You guys have had hot macaroni before, but we need to at least give it a little taste test. So, wow, look at the steam rising off of that. The texture's beautiful. Color. It's still moist underneath. Noodles are cooked through, a little bit crispy on top. That's what you want. We'll give it a taste. Yeah. Wow. Wow. It's really good. The pumpkin gives it this extra richness, and the advantage is it gives you some fiber. You can do regular mac and cheese with the same recipe and skip the pumpkin, but the pumpkin, it's kind of hidden actually, but it gives you a whole lot more fiber, makes this a lot healthier of a meal for you and your family. So go for it. I'm anxious to see how you guys do. Let's cook this week, and we'll meet on Thursday. Looking forward to it.